Did you ever wonder why you have so many art materials in your studio? What if can I tell you that you just need pigment, and with pigment, with Arabic gum, you can make watercolor, and with pigment, with egg yolk, you can make egg tempera, and pigment with linseed oil, you can make oil paints. And what you need is pigment. Um, Pigment with acrylic medium, you make acrylic paints. So what you truly need is mineral. Mineral is your key to make homemade art materials or art painting medium. We're going to have water. Usually it is distilled water so that no fungus and any foreign object might grow from the water. But for now, I'm just going to use boiled water that has been boiled for some time. And I add in gum Arabic. And try to mix it well. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, you need a bunch of palette knife like this for mixing and things like that. I think this is pretty good. So what we have is only 3 ingredients: gum Arabic, honey, and glycerin. And now let's choose a color. We're going to choose Nicosia green. It's a nice jade green, I would say. We'll take some color out. There's plenty of pigment for us. Probably we can make 2 pan, I think, hopefully. And then we're going to like baking, I guess. Make a little hole in the middle. I'm going to pour some gum Arabic. Add some honey. And mix it a little bit. I think this is good, but might be too watery, I think. So let me see. You want it to be of a consistency that is pretty good. Sticky, but not too watery. And then you scoop it up and put it in a pan like this. And then just let it dry for a few days. Let me see, where should I put it here? That's it. Another alternate binding medium is this aquazole, and it's a synthetic resin. So you doesn't need to use gum arabic and honey because those are natural material. These are produced in a chemical factory, I guess. But if you are lazy or you want your paint to be more professional, you might like to buy this instead of using the traditional method. Because the traditional method, you might get into problem like moldy. You know, sometimes when you put in a different condition, it can get mold. If you get mold, you need to use clove oil to make it I don't know, like to kill the mold. But if you use this synthetic material, it has built-in chemical that won't go bad. So basically, that's what it is. If you do not have tiny plastic pan to hold your watercolor, traditionally people fill up tiny seashell with the colors that they are using. So you can be more environmental friendly, and you can pick up some seashell during your next vacation. You can put all your watercolor in a box like this, like an Altoid tin can or something square like this, and inside you can put all the watercolors that you have made. And now you have a travel size outdoor plein air watercolor set that you can use on the go. If you do not have tiny plastic pan to hold your watercolor, traditionally people fill up tiny seashell with the colors that they are using. So you can be more environmental friendly, and you can pick up some seashell during your next vacation. Make sure if you do a lot of different pigment and watercolor, you have a little swatch book that you can make yourself with some cut out watercolor paper, and then with a hole puncher, punch some hole so that you can remember what color that you have made, maybe a certain formula, or what type of mineral that you have used to make them. So it is good to have that. The other way is to do a smaller swatches based on the surface of your watercolor set. So that this is, I have 3 sets of watercolors. This is one set, this is the second set, and this is the third set. So I know exactly where I put those colors in my watercolor boxes. If you wanted to make your own pigment, you have to look for minerals. Minerals that are soft enough for you to rub on another stone, and you can see colors on top of it. And you can look for those in rivers and other natural places. Remember to harvest responsibly. Do not take what is sacred, and making sure that you just took what is needed. So if you manage to look for good mineral sample, you could grind them up in a mortar and pestle and make your own pigment. But if you do not have, I bought all my pigment here at Kramer's, and you can order them online, and that's where you source for pigment. This is 2 color that I made myself, 2 pigment. This is from handmade malachite, a mineral, and I pounded and made the color. If you homemade your pigment, the pigment size would be larger, so it's kind of coarse. Sometimes could be sandy even. So this is part of the process, because we don't have machines that can grind it to like micron mini size, so it will be coarse. So this is what part of the process. So this is actual pigment from malachite, and this black or gray is from coal that I found in the garden. So the place that I'm living, I think they used to have a coal burning furnace or something. So once a while I will find lumps of coal in the garden when I do gardening, and I crush the coal and make into a powder, and the powder I mix with gum arabic and honey and make into a pigment. So pigment like this is less it's less professional, as you could say, because you are doing it yourself. So if you compare it to professionally made watercolor, it might not be that smooth or flowed as well, but it is something that you could explore and have fun. So now we're going to make an egg tempera. So what we are going to do is separate an egg. And we wanted only the egg yolk. Take a kitchen towel and then run the egg yolk over the towel to absorb any of the egg white off the membrane. Looks how it sort of like soak up all the rest of the egg yolk, and there's a very thin membrane on top of, it's like a sac that holds the yolk together. And what we're going to do is to pinch that sac away and take out the sac. As you can see, it started to break, and we wanted only the egg yolk, and the sac is here. So this will be our binder. Compared to gum arabic, this one you have to do it every time you paint. So you couldn't put it in a pan or a tube, it will go bad. Obviously it's organic, it's egg. But what do you guys think? Egg yolk is yellow. If I mix it with ultramarine blue, well, it turns green. You know, the basic color method of, color wheel method of yellow plus blue equal greens, right? That's what convention told us. But the most interesting thing is it doesn't turn green, because the yellow in the egg yolk is not pigment, it's not true color. So it still becomes blue. So we just mix a little bit of egg yolk here. And mix it up really good, just like what we have done so far with the watercolors. So this is egg tempera, and it's not watercolor. It is almost like poster color or designer gouache. You usually paint it opaque, not like watercolor where you run with water and washes. So it's less about washes, but more about laying down flat color, flat stroke that comes into tiny stroke that makes different tonality in your painting. And it's not really, shading the painting with water. It's not like that. So yeah, there you go. So this is ready to go, and we'll test run it and shows you how it works. So wet the brush, and there you go. And the egg yolk is the binder, and when it's dry, it has a sort of like a film that holds the pigment to the paper. and it has a little plasticky consistency. I guess when you has dry egg yolk, it has the same effect. And yeah, that's what you do.